Some of the most powerful and competitive vintners today are those who buy wine for the supermarkets. Dr Arabella Woodrow, with an Oxford doctorate in biochemistry and previous experience with two of the most traditional wine merchants, Harvey's of Bristol and Christopher and Company, is not exactly the most obvious person to be running the wine division of the Co-op. But for the last 5 years, she's been based here at this tank farm and bottling factory just next to the Manchester Ship Canal. When you buy wine for the Co-op, how much wine do you need as a minimum?
Oh, it all depends what it is. I mean, I can buy wines in quantities of as little as 100 cases, but otherwise we like to bring in full containers because obviously that's most economic, or full tankers of bulk wine that we will bottle ourselves.
And that will contain how much?
That's about just over 3,000 dozen, if you bottle a full container of wine.
3,000 dozen bottles?
Mm-hmm.
And this, apparently, is what 3,000 dozen bottles of Liebfraumilch look like when they arrive in a food-quality tanker from Germany via Hull. Not very romantic, is it? The first job's to break the customs seal, and then a sample's taken so that the lab can make sure it matches what Arabella thought she bought and isn't sugar water or anything. The Co-op's the only major British retailer still to do its own bottling, of more than half the wine it sells. Arabella's quadrupled the range, and 1 in every 12 bottles of wine drunk in British homes now comes from the country's favourite undertaker. Last year, £64 million worth of excise duty went to the Exchequer from here. Which nationality of suppliers are the most difficult to deal with?
Usually whichever one you're talking to at the time, but it's not really fair for me to answer that because I know the French much better than other nationalities.
You have answered it.
And I can speak their language, which in fact makes them less difficult to deal with. But
aren't you surprised what a small proportion of your job involves actually tasting?
I didn't expect that, I must say. I knew that there was a lot of administration and paperwork, but I spend a lot of my time going to talk to our retail societies and to promote wine in general. After the tasting, obviously, we have to design a label and sort out the intricacies of getting the wine over here as we want it and when we want it.
What proportion of the wines you sell should be kept before drinking?
A very small proportion indeed. What I aim to do is to provide wine that's absolutely ready for drinking. After all, the consumer goes into a store and he or she will buy something to eat and expect to be able to eat it that night. Why not the wine as well? What
are your top sellers?
Oh, well, that's very easy. Both red and white, our top sellers are Lambrusco. In white, Liebfraumilch sells very well. And Moscato Spumante sells well as well.
Do you ever actually meet the customers of the Co-op?
Yes, frequently. This is actually very helpful because when I go to do an in-store tasting, you can watch the people tasting the wines and they'll say exactly what they think, and that's a great help to me as a buyer.
It's Corbières, it's French wine, Corbières.
Corbières?
Corbières.
Mm-hmm. French wine?
Yes. 11.5% alcohol. 11.5. So it's quite strong, it's full-bodied.
No, I think I like the German wine best.
If all they say is, yuck, this is a bit rough or a bit harsh or a bit sharp, then that provides information for me so that I can avoid those problems the next time.
I think it's a bit on the sour side.
Is it? No, but it's very nice if you have some cheese with it, or maybe some ready meats. It's nicer if you have something to it.
You have one. Good. Enjoy it. I hope you. Thank you.
Arabella regularly organises comparative blind tastings of masked bottles to show the young marketing expert and her Master of Wine assistant how they're doing against the competition. None of us knew it, but in this instance, the Co-op's wine was number 3. So what's the point of this tasting?
Comparative tasting, to compare both samples that we've been given to choose a new wine from and our competitors' wines, but we don't know which is which.
And they're all Australian Semillons?
Yes.
What's the general verdict?
Disappointing. I didn't think, I mean, I know one of ours is in there, but to be quite frank, I don't think any of them really shone out. Some had a bit of wood, some were clearly much thinner than others. Some seemed a bit tired because obviously they've been on the shelf a bit too long. So it's quite a wide variety, really.
It's great variation in style. I mean, I like the zingy ones with fresh acidity because I know those are going to last well and they're going to cope with all sorts of situations in which they might be drunk in. But the tired, flabby ones were very disappointing.
Which one did you like best?
I went for number 3, actually.
I did too. Yes,
Because I didn't like that so much on the first show.
In black and white.
You didn't like it?
No, I went for number 3.
Yeah. Let's see what number 3 is.
Well,
well done. So, only Arabella was unimpressed by the Semillon from the Co-op.
It has a fair bit of wood on it, new wood, and just had more character than the others.
The running I've been doing for about 10 years. With a job like mine, obviously it involves a lot of eating and drinking and general socialising, and it really does help to take some kind of exercise to balance that side of it. My husband entered me for the London Marathon without telling me, so I had to start training. And I've never looked back, thoroughly enjoy it. But I don't just do marathons, I do shorter races as well. Marathons are the glamour side of running, but they do take a lot out of you. And it's more fun to do 10-kilometre or half-marathon races, and then you feel fresh again the next week.
What did your family say when they heard that you were going to join the Co-op and move to Manchester?
Well, apart from the fact that I was moving a long way from home, I think they were very pleased, as my family had always shopped in the Co-op, and they saw it as a challenge and a good move for the future.
And had you shopped in the Co-op?
Yes, I remember being taken there with my mother from an early age, not to buy wine though.
And there are some special characteristics of being a Co-op employee, aren't there? I mean, I don't suppose you were a trade union member before.
No, that is true.
Yeah. Or did you ever have to wear a white coat and hat?
Oh, yes, yes. Being an ex-scientist, I'm used to wearing one of those all the time. But that's simply because we're working in a food factory, because wine counts as food. And so when walking around to look at the lines, you wear a white coat and hat. But it doesn't conjure up most people's image of the wine trade. People expect one to be walking in cobwebby cellars rather than a modern factory.